Welcome everybody to this amazing new segment where where coaches are coming together and where we coaches catch up and really talk about something significant and great things that we have in store for you. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you two of amazing coaches that have actually been inspirational in making me who I am today and living out my calling today. Of course, that I'll share that story later with each one of you. But first and foremost, I would like to just invite and introduce two of these great people, two of these great coaches that have inspired, and I want to introduce them to you today because they are people who are going to change your life and also have changed my life. And I believe in my different conversations I had with them throughout the years, I worked with them in different capacities, different programs. And I think every time I talk to them, they have changed my perspective. They have helped me to grow, and helped me to mature, and helped me to actually go to the next level. We have known each other for many years. And I think it's a funny story because who I am today is just because they have shared their wisdom, they shared their knowledge, and they have even coached me. So in a sense, maybe they are my coaches. And they've coached me to who I am today, and even brought me there because they believe in this. And I always had this idea in my mind, like, oh, if only I could bring them on my podcast. And that was my plan in the long term. And I got now with this MCO situation and not being able to bring other people, I'm like, wow, maybe it's time right now to introduce them to each one of you. And so right now I have Derek, Chong, and Irene. And I think I would like just invite you both to really introduce both of yourselves and just introduce to the audience who you are. Yeah. Hey, Derek, you can go first.
All right. Coaching has been something that's within me for the longest time. If we see coaching as someone who is empowering others, guiding others, helping others to find themselves, find their passion, and living that out. So from a very young age, I've always wanted to see people progress. I wanted to see my friends progressing, wanted to see my fellow students doing better, always having this desire. But knowing how to help them was not always so clear. It eventually took shape. It eventually had a structure, and I was trying things out, and then it just got better and better. So I realized there are certain things that we can do that helps, and certain things that we do that didn't help. So the things that really helped was learning how to ask great questions. I used to think instead of asking questions, we just give advices, that's what people need. But I realized when people did that to me, I didn't like it very much. It wasn't really empowering. In fact, it felt most of the time as if they were taking power away from me. But when people ask great questions that helped me to figure out what was actually happening, and then maybe they would give a little bit of nuggets of say, that's exactly what's happening to you. And then I took that on. That's when it was really empowering. So I'm realizing that for each and every one of us, whatever that we desire to do, Justin, you were talking about passion. This passion is deep inside us. It's given, we're born with it. And throughout our whole lives, we knew we wanted to do something with this, but then eventually it took shape, it had a structure, and then now we're using this gift to serve others. I'm imagining for a musician, so I'm a musician myself. I've been a musician since I was very young. I've always liked music, responded to music, but I didn't know what to do with this. So we went for classes, we learned, we expressed, and eventually I was a music teacher for a while. I became a music coach for a while. I used music to bless people. It kind of took shape, but it was always there. And I realized coaching was always there for me because even when I didn't know what it was, when I saw people doing this, I'm like, that's exactly what I want to do. And that's how I want to bless the people around me. So that's how I got into this whole thing of coaching.
Oh, amazing, Derek. Thanks for sharing. How about Irene? Maybe you can share now your own journey of, how you got into coaching yourself.
How I got into coaching was kind of funny, I would say, and also providential. It all began when I started connecting with Derek when he got back to KK. So that was such a great blessing, and I attended the courses that he organized at the time, like Jumpstart and Who Am I, and I realized there's something different about his way. So I am a person that does not like to listen to advices. Okay, be honest with that. And I like people to trigger me in my imagination, in my mind, to think for myself, and I like that. And questioning, effective questioning, has been doing that. And I realized what Derek has been doing was that, and it's very drawing to me. And I got quite interested, so I started asking him, "What is this thing that you're doing? What is this coaching?" And he started sharing more, and I start learning more about coaching, and I get more and more attracted. And then come a time when at that point of time I was working as a pharmaceutical rep, things got really difficult. And I was like, okay, I had enough of this. And as a person who was very much in looking into security, I was like, I need something to fall back to. That was how I began, actually. And I jumped into a course, a diploma course on coaching. And what I realized after doing that course was that it can change me at that present moment. I don't need to get out of whatever my present was to be happy. I can change it by being by living out this coaching culture, by being encouraging, by lifting people up. Yeah, just by simply asking questions and listening. Effective listening has been such a great blessing. And from there, oh my goodness, I could not express how blessed I was. It was so amazing because that very year when I did my diploma, I was like, high achiever, and I've been achieving, but I achieved with great happiness. That was a big difference. And my supervisors in work and my bosses was like, something different about you. What have you done? Well, something different about you. I say, oh, I've attended the course and I'm still doing my diploma. And I'll be happy if we can be part of it. So I got them involved in the course, like being somebody that I interviewed, somebody that I coached, somebody that I named as my coach as well. So that has been awesome. And ever since then, things has just gotten better and better. I keep seeking for growth as a coach.
Right, amazing. Thanks, Ivy, for sharing your own journey. And I think both of you are amazing in how you came into coaching, and here is my story on how I got into coaching. And it all started with Irene. I think Irene has been an amazing friend for many years in 2013, and I think in my lowest moments where I was just trying to figure things out, we were together in New Zealand, and I was sharing to her, like, this is what I feel, what I'm going through, and Irene would like always ask me questions, like, hey, Justin, how about this, and you start making me feel like, okay, like every time I ask her for advice as a friend, no, as a big sister, tell me what should I do in this situation? And she'll ask me questions, and I admit at that point I was irritated, like, tell me lah, just tell me what is it that I need to do, you are better at this. You should know, you're older and wiser. Share with this young boy. Right? At that time I was just 23, 24, and she was like never relentlessly saying, no, what do you think? Think about this, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And for me at this point, I was so used to like, no, tell me things. I just want to hear and I will do, And I think at that moment, of course, there's a lot of irritation, but slowly and surely there was that hunger to like, oh wow, yes, I'm actually making a decision that I want to do and what is best for my situation. And I think that's where the first experience of coaching came from, was the interactions. And I think she was not like, oh, you want me to coach you. It was more of like naturally just sharing that. And for me, as that came to that point, I was like, wow, okay, wow, this is what I enjoyed. Thank you, Irene. I was like so happy that that was what God was kind of bringing me towards, that a person that helps me to go to the next level of like, as I go into the journey to ask questions about myself introvertly. And the funny part is that the next year when I came back to Malaysia and I found a job in Singapore, I decided it was time for me to start my career. Actually, when I was in New Zealand, I was just taking a break and doing God's work. I was a missionary at the time. And when I came to Singapore, I was doing a career that I studied for. And when I was studying for this career, I was doing well. In the company, I was doing my work, not having a hiccup. And my supervisors was praising me and like empowering me. My manager was saying that, yeah, you're a reliable guy, you're doing good job, great, to continue doing the job. But as I continued that work, although I was doing my work well, I felt something was missing. There was no passion in what I was doing, And I was like, I can't wait to just end this work. Like, should I go back? I had that question, like, should I go back? Should I change a career? Should I look at something else? But I do not know what to do. And the funny thing is that it led me to actually know much more when kind of interacted with Derek. So when I was in New Zealand, Derek came once, and I was so excited to meet this guy because I was talking about him a lot. And even my conversation with him for like 1 week, I think Derek was there for 1 week. Like 1 week I was talking to you, and then you just had like in this one conversation that you had with me, I remember in the library, you just challenged me and talked to me and over a cup of coffee. And it was so nice. I was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing guy, amazing coach. And like now I understand why Irene looks up to him, and this is after Irene was already a coach at the time. And so with that interaction, I met up with Derek because he was doing some programs in Singapore. So every time he would come, he would say, Justin, I'm in Singapore. Are you available to come and meet me? And I said, yes, let's go. I'll be half dead tired after work, but I will definitely want to make that meetup possible, because I think for me, every time I talk to you, Derek, you would just change that perspective, like, how about this, Justin? Just a conversation with you, like, you bring the next dimension for me, and you really challenge me and open my mind towards many things, So, and I encountered, and I was talking to you, I started realizing that, yeah, there's something called doing your work well and doing something that you're passionate about. And I think that really connected with me, was that I was doing a job well because I'm able to do it, but it wasn't something I was passionate about. And that was what was lacking in me. So after many months of groaning, I think Derek was like meeting me every other month, because he was in Singapore every other month, and I was just like internalizing it. I was like, wow, yeah, I connect to that, but I don't know what should I do. If I go back to the industry that I studied for, I think a lot of us are in that situation. We study one industry and it's like, okay, let's go into that. It's much more safer. If I did that, I would still be continue doing that in KL. And it's also going to be still killing me. And I didn't know whether I was up to that, And so for me, I took that leap. I said, okay, I really felt this was not for me. I just quit my job in Singapore, and I think as the time passed, 1 month right before I was about to leave officially, and I met again Derek. Derek was saying, so Justin, you already tendered in your resignation. 1 more month to go. What's your plans? And I was really questioning, like, oh, I have no idea, Derek. I'm just going to go back to Malaysia and figure it out. And then Derek's most amazing line, Justin, how about thinking about a program called Jumpstart? I think Irene spoke about it earlier.
Yeah.
And yes, I was actually introduced to that when Irene was with me in New Zealand. She said, hey, Justin, you should go for this program. I experienced it. It's such an amazing program. And for me, I guess there was a lot of programs during the time I was working, but they all clashed. And Terry said, oh, the next month that you are back, I'm doing a program in KK. If you're interested, this is the invitation to you. And I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? Let's go for this program where I heard so much about, and I see what actually can I learn from this lah. I wasn't skeptical, but I was like, okay, open to it. Like, okay, yeah, let's see lah what I can do. And I think that program helped me to be who I am today, a coach, because I think the program it really helped me to introspect, to find what is it that I was good at, what my passion, what I was really interested in, and looking at my skills and even like my tendencies. Let me share with you why what I did was earlier was logistic management. I studied that logistic management, and it was great. I was doing that, but what I was missing was that I realized I was a people person. Yeah, logistics is more of like I make sure from A to B, the item comes from A to B and everything goes smoothly. Yes, it's also people benefit from it. But I love talking to people. I love journeying with people. And I started realizing that when I started going through the program and introspecting and saying, actually I have always loved talking to people one to one, sharing with that, and they're in church. And when then I look at the other areas of my life, like what actually I love to do was actually so much there in me. And I thought it was just something I would just do this at the side. I help people in church. I just do things because these are my strengths, but I never thought that it could be a strength that it will lead me to a career that I love so much. And I think after that whole program, I was sitting down with Derek. We were in Coco Hill, in KK, one of the very beautiful hills, and we were looking over the hills, and he asked me, so Justin, what next? Where do you want to go next? After knowing so much about yourself, now finally having a passion, even I wrote a mission statement, like what I want to do, how I want to help people, who are the people that I want to help, what can I do? And I was so on fire after this whole program, and he asked me, what next? That was the most beautiful question. And I told myself, I said, Derek, I will take maybe 2 weeks from now to think about this. But from this whole program, I really desire and I think I want to look into coaching. And they just said to me, okay, if you're interested, let's talk about it more. And after 2 weeks, I went back, came to KL, went back and kind of like away from the high mountain, it's more of like relax, going back, I think. And that idea still resonated. I was like, wow, this is such an amazing thing. I finally found that thing that's been missing, that passion, that idea that what I want to do with myself, my life, that this is something I can do and much more. And I think what really has helped me come to that point was that I realized that in my journey with people, I can help people like me. Like how Derek, how Irene did it for me, like be able to help people like who are doing what they're doing well. Or even for them, they're stuck in what their situation is, but they have no idea how to come to this point where they're able to be passionate, able to even use their gifts and talents to make it a career, or even to move from a place of being stuck to a place of thriving, living out their passion, coming alive. I think that something that was a realization for me that, that I want to do that, and I have the passion to do that for people. And so I think that's how I got into coaching. I too went into getting to know much more about coaching. Reading up much more, going through the program also like what Irene did. But I think what really helped me was that I was passionate and driven, because now I can do something not only well, but with a deeper love for it. Is that whenever I go to work, and I start talking to people, having sessions with the coaches, for me it's like I come out more rejuvenated, more alive. If I compare myself to like when I was working in the company, I was doing a job, I think after work I would look at the zombie. I think Derek has seen it when I was in Singapore. I look at the zombie like, I'm really like okay lah. I dread to go back to work tomorrow, but I have to do it because of a paycheck. But now I live in a freer mentality that now I'm able to support people, I'm able to help people, and I come out alive. I'm more rejuvenated when I see people going towards their goal. So for me, that's how I encountered, coaching in a way. But how I'm living out that coaching right now is because it's something that I've really connected to, And so for me, I think that's how I went into coaching. I think I like, and that's why I'm here today also to share with everybody. I want to thank I want to thank both of you for agreeing to do this, because in our conversations that we all three of us have had, it has really been a place where I go and say, wow, there's so much beauty in this nuggets of, like, when I talk to y'all will share with me, challenge me, help me to realize certain things that no one other people have done it for me, and that's why I realized. Actually, I had this thing, in my mind. I was sharing with y'all earlier. I was like, I wish that people could be part of this conversation. Whenever we talk, like as we're sitting over a table and just sharing everything, I was like, wow, if only other people could hear this, could hear what you are saying, to hear us, like people who are not living in a world where things are just like mundane, things are just mediocre. But let's live it out. Let's be passionate. Let's live a reason, have a reason. Yeah. So I think that's something was amazing for me. I think I enjoyed so much that. Yeah, and I think that's something that is amazing. Of course, hopefully soon I'm able to come back to KK, to visit y'all. But I think I love that conversation. I think I'm happy that we are doing this. We are able to do this right now. Um, and of course, for the next few weeks, we have actually a 9 episode podcast series that we are doing together as coaches. For each one of you out there, we really want to share a lot of wisdom. So we have a lot of topics, that we're going to talk about. We're going to cover areas of coaching, areas of personal insights, looking at yourself, and I think this is something that has helped me. And I think for me, I believe it will help each one of you listening to this podcast, that you can actually get so much wisdom, and even to take this time to actually reflect, during this MCO, there's so much time, I believe, that we can set to really self-development. And I think this is an opportunity for each one of you here, to be part of this self-development journey. How you can be part of this self-development journey is through our social medias. We have Instagram, we have also Facebook. But what we will be doing also is that once a week, we will be posting up the topic that we're going to be talking about as coaches. And you are allowed to ask questions. And this is so much important, because we want to hear from you so that we can share with you also, what is it that you significantly can do in your life today. If you're feeling stuck, you're feeling uncertain, you feel unequipped, you do not know what's the next step, maybe with listening to our podcast, you can find the next step. So be part of this interaction with us. And I believe that, asking questions, and then we will take the questions and answer here, will help you live it out. Each one of you listening to this podcast. So do so, follow our social medias. Do follow our YouTube, link, and YouTube page, because we'll be posting up these videos on the next few months, and I believe that you will experience great change just listening to us, listening to this podcast, and actually start your journey today. Start a journey of self understanding, self-development, and also most importantly, start living out what you are called and call for in a greater insight. So I want to thank both of you today for joining us for this podcast. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Derek. I'm looking forward to our next 12 weeks where we talk about different topics. And I'm so excited also to get people involved in this, each one of you to be involved in this. And as of today, we are starting off this coaching culture journey. And I believe that as we go moving forward, we're going to have a great time together. And also that people out there, you will change and be able to thrive. Thank you so much, Derek and Irene, for today. We'll hear more from you in our different topics today, or just an introduction to both of you. And I'm excited to see this journey. And thank you all. Don't forget to really follow our social medias to be part of this journey with us. Thank you and see you all later. Bye.